community and stuff. So keep supporting what you guys want to support. The more you support something, the bigger it gets.
Amen to that. All right. Thank you so much for the time, and we'll talk soon.
No problem. Thanks so much, man.
You're welcome. Bye-bye. And that was Alex Jebailey there of CEO Gaming. And great conversation. And thank you so much for the compliments, Alex. I really do appreciate that. Again, taking the time to come and do this interview with me. Like you said, it takes a lot of time and a lot of effort to it. I'm rebuilding it through Twitch. I've been doing the podcast now on and off for 8 years, and that was actually really cool. I really do appreciate that because I've had 2 great compliments in the time that I podcast. One, I won't name names, but there's a producer who's currently in WWE who, at the time when NXT was just launching, he had given me the compliment. Like I had analyzed something of how Triple H, since he's in charge, and this is before he was hired, that seems like he's bringing back the territories in a new school way. I forget the whole context of the question, but him as a lifelong wrestling personality and now a WWE producer, he said, wow, that was an intelligent analysis. That comment still keeps me going doing this podcast, no matter how long it takes me to build my audience or anything of that sort. So that comment keeps me going. And for Jeballey to just take the time out now to tell me that I had great questions and a good job. I take it from where I get it, where I can get it. Like any compliments, I never fish for it, but it's appreciated that he took the time out to say that on the air to me and not just say it off air. So if you're still watching Jeballey by chance, thank you so much for the compliments. It really does mean a lot to me. And I do appreciate you, again, taking that moment to say that live. Mm-hmm. So it's, it was very much appreciated. I'm not going to stop babbling on with that. I'm actually going to take a quick break, really, for a little bit. And all right, the match that you had just seen, Sonny Kiss of AEW versus Darius Carter. Maybe you get some of the Concrete Rose at CEO's wrestling show June 29th out in the Ocean Center in Daytona, Florida. And we're back with Open Mic Wrestling Night here, live, twitch.tv/Calypso426. If you are not watching live, you can also listen on iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, TuneIn, all different sorts of podcast outlets in which you get your favorite shows. And again, awesome. Thank you so much again to Alex Jebailey for coming on to give me a few minutes on the show. Just plug a couple things really quick. His Jepodcast, be sure to go to ceogaming.org and check that out, when he posts it, but it's all over online with your favorite podcast outlet, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, just to name a couple. CEO 2019, June 28th to 30th, and you can follow Jeballey at CEO Jeballey or at CEO Gaming on Twitter, CEO Gaming Inc. on Instagram. So, just to recap a little bit what Jeballey had been saying in his interview, just in case you had missed it. And by the way, if you did miss it, the replay will go live tomorrow. I mean, you can watch it on Twitch here all you want after the show goes off the air, but I will be putting it up on, you can see on below if you're watching, on Twitter at Open Mic Wrestling. If once the show goes live, the replay, I will post it on that page and on my personal page at Calypso426. You could check out the replay there and what Jeballey had to say. But to kind of recap it a little bit, we did talk about his training. He did training at one school. There was controversy behind that. And now he's just been doing a lot of work at the gym, training that way to get ready for this match coming up against Michael Nakazawa. He was really high on Michael Nakazawa, obviously as a performer, and didn't quite give it a straight answer if he was up to Matt's proposition of if you had to end his life, would you? You have to watch Being the Elite in order to get that reference. And then basically talked about last year. He's looking to make things a lot better. There's different production, obviously, and everything coming about to make the show much better this year. So he's looking for it to be much better. And they moved it to Saturday, obviously, to hopefully give everybody a chance, everybody who would come in late, to have the chance to check out the show. Plus, they were talking about a Ring of Honor show coming up around that time. And obviously, one of the questions that one of you had asked on Facebook about, obviously, his talks with Daytona officials about the the issues that were going on there, and the panhandlers he was talking about. They passed an ordinance now and basically eliminated them overnight, and things have improved from that end. So hopefully he's looking to make more progress to accommodate people in that area outside of just his gaming tournament. So very nice to talk to Jeballey, and obviously his friendship with Kenny, had a cool story about a coffee shop in Japan. Again, if you want to listen to the full interview once the show goes off the air, you can get a replay if you're watching it live. But obviously, if you want to check the download will be available tomorrow, obviously through Phil and the Boy Podcast Network. But check up on Twitter at Open Mic Wrestling, WRESTLIN, tomorrow at around, I believe around noon, either 10 a.m. or noon Eastern, it goes live. So, again, keep on the lookout on Twitter to see when that posts, and you can hear the whole thing all over again then. So I appreciate it, and again, everybody who has been tuning in and who has been downloading and who's been listening by way of the replays or on Twitch or anything like that, I do appreciate all the support that I've been getting, and it's all greatly appreciated at the same time. Well, you do have a choice, but you choose to stick around. As my fiance for tolerating me and not killing me. Does that sound good? Just shaking her head, yes. All right, so as I was starting to kind of talk about a little bit before Jeballey came on, let's talk about the G1 Supercard really quick, because that was obviously one of the big things coming out of Monday was the announcement of the full card. Let's just go over that really quick, and it's a lot of. Let's go over that, and let's go over now the confirmed lineup for TakeOver. Because let's compare shows here for a second. Just have fun with it. First we have champion versus champion between Will Ospreay and Jeff Cobb. Jeff Cobb, by the way, one of my favorites out there right now in any company, anywhere in the world. So good. For a big guy, he should not move the way he does. It's incredible. He reminds me so much of what Taz would be like now, among other wrestlers, Samoa Joe and the like in his prime. So, but yeah, Cobb and Ospreay can talk about two completely different styles of wrestling in a way, and they're about to tear the house down at Madison Square Garden. That's so weird to say still, that another show outside of the WWE is going to be running Madison Square Garden, which is really cool. Just to even talk about from a historical standpoint, and one of my friends, one of the partners of the network, DJ Classic, he is actually going to that event, and I told him he sucks, because I would love to go. But either way, it is for the Never Openweight Championship and the Ring of Honor World TV title, so that'll be interesting. By the way, New Japan Pro Wrestling, you should correct that, because it's not the World Championship; it's the World TV title, because the World Championship match isn't until later. Let's see, Dalton Castle versus Rush, definitely a special singles match attraction. Women of Honor World Champion Mayu Iwatani will defend the title against Kelly Klein. This will be her third defense. I'm just reading this off the New Japan website right now, by the way, just so that everyone's like, oh, why are you looking down so much? No, I have to have my point of reference here. Bully Ray issues a New York Street Fight Open challenge which is very interesting because, obviously in past Ring of Honor shows, they've had the involvement of the Sandman and everything else like that. So it'll be very interesting to see who actually takes up on this open challenge, who they have take up on this open challenge. It could be anybody from a Tommy Dreamer to somebody that maybe we would expect. Maybe an RVD, maybe somebody else within the Ring of Honor roster right now. I don't know who they would have up against Bully Ray in that match. Be very interesting to see. Wouldn't it be funny if they had Dave LaGreca accept the challenge, his fellow busted open co-host, and like as a gag at first, there would be no contest if it was with those two, just to get a laugh out of the crowd. For those who do follow that show. Next is for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship, as Taiji Ishimori defending against Ring of Honor representatives of ROH and CMLL in the form of Bandito and Dragon Lee. That's going to be another awesome match. Obviously, one of the biggest attractions in New Japan, obviously, traditionally has always been the junior heavyweights. So that'll definitely be interesting to see how this match turns out. Then we have a Four Corners Tag Team match for both the IWGP Heavyweight and ROH World Tag titles. GOD take on PCO. That's the IWGP Heavyweight Tag Team Champions, GOD. Take on PCO and Brody King from the Villain Enterprises. And they'll be defending their Ring of Honor World Championships as well, the tag team titles, against Sonata and Evil and the Briscoes. Basically, a four-corner survival for those old-school Ring of Honor fans. Definitely a match to check out. PCO and Brody King. PCO, isn't it amazing that dude's like, I believe he's in his early 50s, and he's still killing it. He's main eventing Ring of Honor shows. Like, he's been one of the bigger attractions in pro wrestling for about 3 years now. Like, he's had a resurgence in his career, and obviously Ring of Honor recognized that and took advantage of it, the fact that he can bring eyes to the brand. And now he has a chance to wrestle in his resurgence of his career at Madison Square Garden. Like, talk about a redemption story for him. I mean, for PCO personally, I'm very happy for him. And let's just preface this, like, I might be happy in particular for certain talents, but let's just be very honest, for all these talents involved, to be able to have the honor of saying they wrestled at Madison Square Garden, that is definitely something that, for many of them, if not all of them, will say that it's a career highlight. I mean, guys that have wrestled New Japan, you think of Naito, you think of Okada, you think of Tanahashi. They've wrestled Tokyo Dome. They've wrestled a lot of prestigious venues out in Japan. But to say that you wrestled in Madison Square Garden is just a completely different animal. Back in the old days of the territories, I mean, if you made it in New York, you could, it definitely helps you out, in other ventures in pro wrestling. But there's still that weight that's carried, I believe, that if you're wrestling Madison Square Garden, that's a big, big deal. It's a bigger deal, I think, now that another show outside of WWE is running it. Or, whether it be one company or two companies combining their efforts into one show, it's still a big deal that Ring of Honor and New Japan are running out of Madison Square Garden. And it's funny, and news that came out today that I found out in September, Raw and SmackDown are going to be live back-to-back nights at Madison Square Garden for the first time in over 10 years. That's insane. Like, that's kind of, it's insane that WWE hasn't had a live televised broadcast from the Garden in so long. When you think about moments like Triple H's return, among other things, when Kane loses his mask, and you think of so many events that go on at the Garden, or that have gone on there, and that they've only been doing house shows for the last 10 years is absolutely insane. So it's almost like a direct kind of reaction to another company running the Garden. Like, they made an effort, like, okay, now we can't do just house shows. I get it, it's expensive, but come on, with WWE's money, you could do it. You could definitely do it.